All righty, we had to unmute there. Hello, we want to say welcome to yes, and especially you, each and every one of you beautiful people. We welcome you to the GW3 Global Club Tom Ford Fridays, where the men get to have a barbershop conversation without interruption from the ladies. The ladies are flies on the wall, and I am elated to have as our special guest today none other than the real man himself, Mr. Ramon Ray. And Ramon,
What's up, man?
welcome to Tom Ford Fridays. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Good to be here. And listen, can you hear? Am I okay with audio? I'm trying to put my phone underneath my leg, in my armpit, under the chair. I'm getting ready to throw it out the window. Is that okay, the audio, or should I exit the clubhouse room?
No, you fine. Just stay muted on Clubhouse.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm in muted. Okay, fine. Good. I wasn't sure if you could hear it through the phone echo, but I'm good. I'm blessed. It's good to be here, man. And thanks for having me and thinking I could add some value to this amazing discussion. So thank you, Pastor Jeff, Renee, and the whole team behind here doing it. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. We have some other men that may be joining us, but I know you and I can carry it on until then. But before we get started, Ramon, tell the beautiful people who you are, what you do, and how they can get in contact with you.
Sure. I'm an entrepreneur who has started several companies and sold them. So my passion is inspiring people and making the world a better place. That's my existence. And people can get in touch with me at RamonRay.com. So that's who I am.
All right, Ramon, thank you. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started right away. What we normally do, Ramon, when we start out, I ask a couple of questions that the queens would like to know. And so the first question that I have is the queens want to know, do men approach women the same way they approach business? And we will go on to the clubhouse as well and talk to the men there. So how about it, Ramon? Do men, in your opinion, approach women the same way that they do business?
Now, since I'm new to this, Pastor Jeff, you have to guide me to the rules. Am I allowed to ask you clarifying questions, or will you say I'm chickening out and saying, "Nah, Ramon, that's chickening out"? What? How does it work here? Let me
look, Ramon. I'm going to tell you. Forget that pastor's in front of my name, because this is this. Let me say it one more time. This is a barbershop men's conversation. So we want to talk the way men talk in the barbershop. And by the way, I'm glad you did that. Let me very quickly give the disclaimer. The opinions of our guests are indeed only the opinions of our guests. They do not reflect the sentiment of GW3 Global Club, Global Women Wealth Warriors, or our board of directors. With that being said, Ramon, don't chicken out on me, brother. How do men approach women? Do they approach women the same way they do business, or they approach a different way?
Yeah, my opinion, I think yes. I think the same way as business. And again, I was saying the qualifying question of that, okay, we got TJ here. What's up, TJ? The qualifying question is, what does that mean? But if I have to answer it as far as pretty transactional, pretty straight, pretty black and white, pretty simple, I'd like to think so. But a caveat to that, my lady, my woman is a human. She's my queen. I want to court her. I want to nurture her. I want her affection. So I'm not trying to have it both ways here, but it's just, in case I have want to edit my comments. But I think to some degree, men, yeah, we give, we get. I mean, if business is, and I wouldn't say not emotional, because it's okay for men to be emotional. But for example, I just sold my business, Pastor Jeff. People say, Ramon, how will you feel? Just like I felt the day before I sold it. It's done. It's gone. I don't feel, I get what they're saying, but it's a moment and it's over. That's it. So that's my answer.
Thank you, Ramon. And we're going to go Pastor TJ Davis. It is great to have you. If you take a moment, tell everybody who you are. Let me inform you are on Clubhouse as well as on our live. So we're streaming out to Facebook, we're streaming out to YouTube, and they can hear you on the Clubhouse through me piping the audio in. So please, very quickly, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how they can get in contact with you. And then we'll go to the question that the ladies want to know.
All right. There we go. That's good. I am a business owner here in Atlanta. I run a firm by the name of Twisted Spine Rehabilitation. We invest in health and wellness in the Atlanta College Park area. Also, we have a joint sister company by the name of Atlanta Injury Net, and we co-op with a in the local Atlanta area, and we specialize in personal injury cases. This is my I do here. I make sure if you would like to meet me or see, you can go to the website, 88hurt.com. Pastor Jeff, back to you.
All right, we're trying to get rid of this echo. I'm not sure where we're getting it at. We got this thing set up the way that we normally have it set up. So, Pastor Davis, do you want us to call you Pastor Davis? You want us to call TJ? What do you want us to call you other than late for dinner?
Hey, just call me TJ Davis, man.
All right, Mr. TJ Davis.
Simple servant, you know. I love supporting people.
Well, wonderful. Look, the ladies want to know, do men approach women the same way they approach business?
Okay. That's a good man. Let me see. I'll speak from my perspective. And I'll tell you that I have gotten in trouble several times with my wife because I haven't turned it off. And so there's what I call a turn off period. When I'm on my way to work, I'm turning it on for work. My wife happened to work in the same practice that I work in. So this is definitely a challenge, but I'm hoping to master being married to the woman that work in my office and going home with the same woman that I work in my office. This has been a challenge, Pastor Jeff. However, it's been on one of my top to-do lists as a man to master my emotions versus business. And how do you separate it? And when do you become business and husband? And how do you integrate it without the feelings and the emotions and the disagreements to agree to disagree? And so I would say this. I'm in what you call the stage of, I'm in that training stage, Pastor Jeff. I'm in that training stage. And that stage is that my wife is emotional and I'm not so emotional. And so a lot of times as a man, I take the business approach into the marriage and try to fix things, and I end up striking out. And I keep hitting that wall over and over again. And so if we're in the bedroom or in the bathroom at home, the rule is no business talk.
Okay.
Versus at the office, she's Dr. Davis, and at home, she's my wife. But every now and then, she does not play fair with that particular setup. And so it's a lot of flexibility there. And that's the best way I can answer that question, man. I have approached her business, and it just doesn't work.
Okay.
Pastor Jeff, can I ask a follow-up question, may I?
Sure.
Thank you. I just was curious, how long and TJ, nice to meet you, brother. How long you been married?
We're on 7. We're going in 7. We knew each other for 15.
Okay, so I've been married 28 years, which is less than some, but just so you know about the question, the aspect, you're still being in training, brother, I think training only ends after the 80th year of marriage, is my opinion. So I just want to comfort you with that. I'm still in training.
And you know, my dad been married. My parents have been married 46 years, Ramon, and he said it's an ongoing process to the day you die.
And you know what, brothers? I wonder if it's going to bleed over into the afterlife. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Look, we've got Ori, the accidental gangster in the room on Clubhouse. We're gonna ask Ori the same thing. Ori, do you approach business the same way you approach women? Ori, go ahead and unmic and tell the folks who you are, and if you don't mind, answer the question. All right, Zori, are you able to hear me on Clubhouse? All right, I don't know if Ori heard me, so we're gonna go ahead. You know, as I was listening to both of you gentlemen, you both are absolutely 100% correct, and the real answer is that every man is different. You know, we want the women to understand that every man is different. What happens in the Ray house, none of that may happen in the Moffat house. And what happens in the Moffat house, none of that may happen in the Davis house, other than the normal things that husbands and wives do. And so the best thing for the ladies, brothers, to do is to learn your man and communicate with your man. See, I heard what Pastor TJ Davis said. Now, I'm just going to tell you, you know, they told me years ago that once a man gets to be 60, he can say whatever he wants to say. All right. So look, TJ, the business side of the wife is only welcome when we doing role play. If we're at home, if we're not at home, the business is business, and wife and husband and wife are husband and wife. Now, occasionally to spice things up. See, when you've been together as long as I have, you got to do some stuff to change some stuff up. So if we got some role play going on, and I'm gonna be an employee, and you're gonna be the naughty boss, then we're gonna go ahead. Look, let's go to the next question that the ladies want to know, and then we're gonna get into some men questions. So the ladies want to know if or why men appear to have an issue with either paying all of the bills, paying them on time, or paying a portion of the bill. I mean, the idea was, the lady said the bills have to get paid on time 100%. You don't have to do Glenn Lundy's 800%, but you got to pay 100% of the bill. And they want to know, you know, the inference is that men aren't stepping up and paying all of it, or if they pay it late, or they're not paying none of it.
I'm happy to go with that. Again, as TJ said, and I won't keep saying it, but speaking from me, my perspective, and a guess I can have representing many men possibly as traditional bread earners. I'm not saying ladies are not bread earners. Many ladies work to working households. I get that. I'm not saying that. But my opinion, I do strongly believe that God has given ladies the genetics of a nurturing spirit much more than men. I think they have an extra dose of that nurturing, right? I'm glad they do, or they wouldn't carry children and breastfeed and things like this. And I think many men have an extra dose of aggression, an extra dose of protection. This is why many men commit crimes and start wars. I think most of us can agree on that. So having said that, I would guess that protector, breadwinner, provider side, we like to open the door for our ladies. We like to pay the meal for our ladies, things like that. It makes us happy. I believe part of that could be, for a good man, is the fear of not having money. Like, let me not pay. If I owe $100, let me just pay half the money right now, because I want to save the other half for a rainy day. Something else may come up, whatever it is. So part of that could be just mismanagement, not good financial training, things of that nature. But my guess is that, assuming for a good man, now there are some men who are irresponsible, gambling it away, drinking it away, whatever they're doing with it. But I think, in generally speaking, my guess is for the good men, that fear, that concern and anxiousness, I hope I have enough for the next week. So I can tell Verizon or AT&T or Sprint, whoever, screw them. I can tell them, wait, but I got to make sure I have money for diapers, or take my wife out to dinner. So that could be.
That's a good point several good points you bring up, Ramon. And that is, again, men think different than women. And we prioritize. So, you know, if I don't pay all of it this month because I need to put it on something else, then that's what we're going to do. And again, that's where communication comes in. I want to take a pause for the cause here. If you're on Clubhouse, we want you to go ahead and put something in the chat. You don't have to flash your mics because that's going to interrupt the audio, but you can hold down your profile picture and you can put up an emoji. You can put up fire, put up whatever you want to put up, and then put in the comments. If you're enjoying this and if you have a question, as always, go ahead and put your questions in, ladies, but it does not mean that Pastor Jeff is going to ask it today. If I get around to it, we will. And if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, please go ahead and put something in the comments. As Renee would say, put some black and white hearts. You know, the red ones are okay, but put some black and white hearts for Tom Ford Friday if you're enjoying the program. Invite some people in, especially the men, because we all need to hear this conversation. Before I go to you, TJ, I'm going to go to the Clubhouse, and I see Marcus on the stage. Marcus, flash your mic if you're with me. All right, I don't know if Marcus can hear us, so we'll go to you, TJ. How about it? Men in paying all of the bills or half of the bills or none of the bills or paying them late?
I'm 100%. I'm 100% in, right? There are some things, some adjustments that, you know, we had to make coming in. And in my household, the way that we run, the way that my wife and I run our household is that she's not so good at, again, I want to make sure I say this right. I don't even know if she's listening, but if it is, it's truth. She's not the financial brain in the marriage. And so because she's not the financial person that will handle financial things in the marriage, she trusts the strength that I have in finances to be able to run our household so that we are successful in that area. Now, as a business owner and as a business mindset that I had, the business mindset that I have, one of the things that there's a rule that I have. It's called a 28-day rule. I got 28 days to pay the bills and to make sure they're paid, and that's on time for me. I don't allow anything to lapse over because I won't have 28 days and then she'll get the phone calls. So what I have done, I have linked her phone to the creditors that would call. And if I go over, then there's a reminder that I need to go and pay the bills, and I got 2 days to make it happen. And that's that OPM, other people's money, you know, that I use. So I use that thing which you call grace to get it done. And so that's been working. But here's the clause. Here's another clause that was thrown in. The wife goes out and get her own personal credit card. That's a whole nother level. She's added to what she's added to now the household income and the bills. And guess what? Hey, baby, that's your responsibility. You went out and got that extra thing now. That's because you wanted it, but we didn't need it. But that's your thing. And just check your account for some allowance. And if you take that allowance and put it towards that, cool. But you're responsible for that. But I'm responsible for the overhead of this household. That's 100%. That's
CJ, so somebody said, watch out that old baby. Look here. You know, we're gonna ignore the ladies for now, but they do get to put, you know, some of the comments they put in. We do get to see some of them. But I like that 28-day rule. That's monumental. Is the 28-day rule. I like the fact that you have the creditor's phone number connected to the wife, so she gets the reminder, and of course she reminds you, and then you have 2 days. But you said something when you first started out, and you had a little bit of, you know, hesitation at how you was going to say it to make sure that you stay safe in the Davis house. But look here, this is what Pastor Jeff says: whoever is good with the numbers I don't care if the dog is good at the numbers, or Ramon say, let the dog do the books. Okay, whoever in the house is good with the numbers, let them handle that. So as a couple, whether you're married, whether you're shacking, whether you try to make your mind up, if you're working together, then together means together. And it's no light, it's no clap on the person who is not good at the finances, or the person is not good at doing the clothes, or the person is not good at doing the homework. Look, you work together and you complement one another. And that way, I believe the ancient text, as my friend Dr. James would say, suggests that two are better than one. So where I'm weak, you are strong. You have my back and I have your back. Let's try to go to the clubhouse again. Brother Marcus, are you with us? What about you, ECMD, the accidental gangster? Are you with us? All right, it's just us. We're going to rock it. Oh, accidental gangster. We're going to go ahead. Ori, how about it?
Well, this is ECMD promoting Ori's book, but he's the accidental gangster, but I'm the real gangster.
Well, go ahead, real gangster. What about it? Real gangsters know all about money and finances. I don't know if guys, the guys on live, y'all heard. We may know who that is, brother. But look here, what do you think about this question that the ladies ask before we get into the men's questions about men paying the bills, paying them on time, or paying half of them? What's your perspective, brother? Well, thank you so very much, King. We're going to go. We see the other men. Mr. Tyrone Poole is in the house.
Tyrone Poole's in the house. I had to cut you off there, Pastor. Tyrone Poole, you said is here?
Tyrone Poole is in the house.
Okay.
This is a phenomenal show today. And we got Brother Jonathan from the ATL. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see him with his glasses. Ramon, his glasses tells us what he's thinking. He's got different glasses, but we're just gonna have to listen to it. So we're gonna go to Brother Jonathan, and then we're gonna go over to Brother Tyrone Poole. The question is, gentlemen, from the ladies. This is the ladies' question. They want to know about men, why we appear to have difficulty paying all the bills, or may pay only half of the bill, or we just don't pay the bill on time. It's due on the 1st, and we get around to it by the 15th. How about it, Jonathan?
Well, unfortunately, I'm guilty of that, sir. I have been not
Thank you, King. I like that, because one of the things they taught us in the military is to know your strengths and to know your weaknesses. That's one of the signs of a good leader. So you know what you got to work on. We're looking forward to rocking with your brother all the way up to Johnny 2.0. And you already heard it there from TJ Davis. He got a system, the 28-day system. He's right there in Atlanta. Sounds like the two of you might need to hook up. We're going to go over to Tyrone Poole. Tyrone, how about it?
What's up, Tyrone?
From the environment that they're trying to ask you to question in and put them in a different environment, then you're able to see with clarity and get the answer that you're looking for. But sometimes when you're in hot water, got your feet in hot water and you talking about it's hot, yeah, you're going to probably not see what you need to see. So sometimes you need to put you in another environment and you'll come back and you appreciate that hot water. But when I look at sports, I use sports as a metaphor for life. I think it's a great metaphor. And Pastor Jeff, you spoke on strengths and weaknesses. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. And I also believe in the fact that just do your job. That was what people say we said in New England, but I think it's just a word and a statement for the entire human race. Just do your job. Sometimes we got people trying to mix in, and I don't know if there's any Dallas Cowboy fans in the house or anybody understand American football, but you know, I always joke and say about Jerry Jones. The reason why the Cowboys can't win, because Jerry Jones, he on the sideline, he's in the meeting rooms, he's all over the place. Jerry, just be an owner. Just be an owner, leave the coaching up to the coaches, okay? Stay in the booth. So I say all that to say again, like you said, Pastor Jeff, strengths, weaknesses. Now, if you've given me the task to pay the bills, okay, just like in sports, there are equipment trainers. Their job is to prepare the uniforms. If we play on Sunday, their job is to prepare the uniforms and have them wherever we are playing at our home stadium, or if we're playing away. When the players get off that bus on Sunday to walk into that locker room, that jersey and the pants, the shoes, whatever that player needs required for them to be on that field, the players don't sit there. We don't worry about that. We worry about the playbook. We worry about practicing, making sure we're showing up on time for practice, making sure that we are running the plays according to the playbook. We don't sit there and worry about, man, I wonder if they're going to have my number correct on my jersey. I wonder how they're going to have my jersey sitting up in my locker. I wonder if they're going to have my shoes. No, just do your job. But when you start trying to worry about whether somebody's doing this and they doing, you know what, did they get it done? Did they get it done? I don't care if you sidearm the ball. I don't care if you underarm the ball, throw it behind your back. Did you get the ball? Did you carry out that play? Did you score the touchdown? At the end of the day, that's the result we're looking for. But when you get caught up looking at all, and this is, again, hopefully, I don't know if I'm stepping all over the question or if I'm answering the question directly. But to me, I'm just do your job. If you give the task to the person, don't worry about whether they do it on the 1st or the 15th. You got food in the refrigerator? Yes. Are the lights still on? Yes. Okay. Just do your job. Just do your job. Now, if something happens to the lights, they get cut off, and or in sports, if I get beat for a touchdown, and then, hey, maybe somebody else need to play corner. But if I am still doing my job and I'm doing it effectively, let me do my job. That's just me.
I hear you, Tyrone. It sounds like what you're saying is, look, as long as you eating, as long as there's a roof over your head, if I got to pay a late penalty, so be it. I'm just gonna pay the late penalty, and you just enjoy it. But let me share this with the brothers and the sisters, just in case they didn't know. You know, Pastor Jeff happens to be in the know in this 6th decade. There's a thing called electronic transfer. You can put your bills on autopilot. You don't have to worry about them being late. They can come directly out of your bank account, just like your check probably goes in on direct deposit. There can be a direct deduction to pay those bills on time every month. And when you want to stop it, you just go online. You don't even have to go to the bank, TJ. You go online to the bank and you stop it. So look at here, brothers and sisters. There's no excuse. Whoever's handling the books.
Pastor Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Can I just bring another side of this, though?
Bring it. And then we're gonna move to the next topic. Ramon, go ahead.
What if your spouse has grown up, as some have, especially in the Black community, averse to tech and averse to banking, investments, things of that nature, if you get what I mean? So you're right. I'm with you. I'm automatic, use everything, auto credit card, apps, and all this. But my spouse, lover, 28 years of together, once or twice she's been burned a few times, things have happened. She's a paper and pen girl. She don't even like the QuickBooks, Zero, FreshBooks, and all this. So I agree with you, but going back to communication, relationships, and our homes, and she does the finances better. No, not technically, but she's more frugal. So she'll have more of us, our money in the bank. You know, if I let her lead that, then somebody put it there in there. So I trust the banks. To me, it's all automatic big mega frames. But I think I've given my point. So I just want to bring that aside because some people, that goes back to communication. It makes sense to me and you. But if TJ's like, oh, for example, I don't like banks, we got to talk to TJ.
Well, see, that's a good point, Ramon. And I'm going to go back to my original comment about communication. You see, if you communicate, you actually can have a hybrid. You know, Ramon can take what money he has and then what he takes care of, and it can all be on autopilot. And what Mrs. Ray does, if she's efficient in it, she can do it all through paper. That's a hybrid. That's a win-win situation. It doesn't have to be all or none because, again, we're working together. Now, I want to share something that's ironic with you gentlemen, and that is the amount of time we spent talking about finances is directly proportioned to the reasons that couples get divorced or break up. The number one reason is infidelity, and the number two reason is finances. And this conversation sparked has been indicative of that number two reason, which is the finances. So look, if we can be disciplined, as Glenn Lundy said this morning on the Rise and Grind show, the GM3X, look, brothers, you got to be disciplined. And I'm not going to be discriminatory. Nowadays, Ramon, the sisters got to be disciplined too, because they just want to get their boots knocked like the brothers wanted to go and knock the boots. So everybody be disciplined. That'll get rid of the number one reason for breakup, and educate yourself on the finances, which would be number two. Now, gentlemen, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this next question, but we're going to hit it. And that is, for those that are married, and I don't want, and those you already told that you are, and for the ones on Clubhouse, whether you are or not, that's up to you whether you want to share it. I'm not going to mess up whatever you got going. But this is the question. Hypothetically, if you are married and you're going to be dating, you have a woman that you feel that you are compatible with. She is mentally, spiritually, and emotionally intelligent. She's attractive. And you find out she's got 3 children. Is it a go or is it a no? We'll go to TJ. TJ, go or no?
Whoa. Hey, let's see. You just want the answer and that's it, and you don't want me to elaborate on. You want
No. We right now we just go. Is it a go or is it a no?
It's a go.
All right. Ramon, go or no?
Pending what God tells you and other things like that, it's a no.
Okay. Tyrone, go or no? Touchdown or foul?
Now I'm not going to go into my answer, but I'd say in depth. But if you give me an opportunity, I would like to explain if we have time later on. But I think it could be a go.
Okay.
But there's some factors that I have learned that you need to find out. But I think it can be a go. But I would love to expound on that if we have time.
All right, brother Tyrone, if we have time, but I've got some juicy questions that we want to get into the main question.
But Pastor Jeff, I just want to fully declare Tyrone's answer was like a wussy answer. He said it depends. So we're gonna move on, Tyrone. But I want you to know I got your number, Tyrone. That was not a strong answer. So, but Pastor Jeff wants us to move on. So I just want to call you out. That answer was like, nah, I'm not liking that answer. That went both ways.
No, that's not true. You're not putting words in my mouth.
I'm just
I called
said
out
it
by his
is-
own
I'm just messing with you, Tyrone. I'm
It
just
is a
teasing you.
go. You know what? Me and Ty Law had that all the time. That's why we were the #1 tandem in cornerback during that year in 2003. We won the Super Bowl. That's what champions do. You question each other, make each other better.
But you know I'm messing with you. I
no,
can't see you. I want to make sure you know I'm just giving you a hard time.
yeah, I know. That's why we
Okay.
have fun. But no,
Absolutely.
I did give an answer. I
That's
said
the
yes.
barbershop.
I said yes, but there's some factors. It's just like a coach inheriting a new team. Okay, yes, you can make it work, but I also got to understand there's some rules that need to be put in place. If those rules not put in place, then no, it's not going to work.
I
But
got
yes,
you.
a new coach can come in and inherit a team of players. Tony Dungy put together the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then you had Pastor Jeff. I'm about to give you a job. You had John Gruden.
I got a job. I got a
in.
job already. Yeah. Renee already gave me a job.
Yeah. John Gruden came in
but
and
look,
took over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and took them to the Super Bowl. So he took over a team that already had players that he had nothing to do with, but he set rules and they won the Super Bowl. So that's what I mean.
Tyrone, see,
yes, sir.
Ramon done got you in trouble because this was a go or a no go, and I need to move to Steve. I need to move to Steve. Steve,
did
you hear the question, Steve?
Hey, Pastor, thanks for letting me tap in. Yeah, I heard the question, but not all. I was just walking by. So I thought I heard it's a girl on a date and she's compatible. That was the question, right?
Okay, she's emotionally, intellectually.
Am I right?
Yeah, she's attractive.
Anybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Anyone there?
I heard what he said, Pastor Jeff. Steve said it's a no.
I heard Steve. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear now. So I was asking because you said a girl on the date and somebody compatible, right?
Yeah, somebody muted me on Clubhouse. The question is, she's compatible, she's attractive, and then you find out she has 3 children. Is it a go or is it a no?
Relationships doesn't happen on a first thing, but there is something which is called the love at the first sight. If that happens, maybe that's a go. But for me, yes, you need to take some time, check out people. I mean, you have to see that what they're looking for, at least 3 to 4 months or 6, more than that, and then it's a go. Not on the first one, but if it is a love at the first sight, yes, then it's a go. 2 options.
All right, gentlemen. I just wanted to throw that one out because I'm pretty sure ladies want to hear answers.
Pastor Jeff.
Look, hold on for a moment, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to Tyrone.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that Tyrone's answer, all right, is more in line with what Pastor Jeff would say because it's a hypothetical situation, and with all the information that we have, we can say yes or no. But in real life, maybe she got baby kids. Everything is fine, but I'm gonna have to be dealing with going to jail. I'm gonna have to be going to the school every week. Pastor Jeff ain't got time for all of that, so it's a no. All right. But then maybe all of our children are entrepreneurs like Ramon Ray, and they buying and selling businesses, and they supporting their mama and sending their mama out on cruises and trips to Dubai. Then yeah, it's gonna be a yes. So it all depends, and we just wanted to throw that one out. So Ben, here's a question for us.
So Pastor Jeff, before you go on, may I just add one more thing? May I?
Add it, Ramon. Of course you can, Ramon.
If you said no, I would shut up. But I just wanted to say, I think for the ladies though, I would be cautious of the man you married with your kids because there's a higher rate. I don't have the stats in front of me though, of not good stuff going on with that male in the home and the kids that are not his natural born. So the ladies, I would say, be extra careful before you say yes to having a man in your home with your 16-year-old daughter, 10-year-old daughter, 3-year-old daughter. That's my 2 cents on that.
So Ramon, what I hear you saying is do your due diligence, put out that security, get all that security information. But I'm gonna share something with you, Ramon. I'm just gonna be transparent.
Please.
The way that I was brought up in my first marriage, and I'm not gonna get in all of that, but it was a prophet lied by the church. So I only knew my wife a week before we got married. All right, she's 10 years older than me with 3 children. I treated those children when I said I do to 4 people.
Absolutely.
I said I do to her and the 3 children. So for me, if I'm going to be a father and a husband, I'm a father and a husband. I don't play step anything. Now, for folks who okay with it, that's all right. But Pastor Jeff, Only thing I'm gonna step is I stepped up to the plate, and I'm your daddy. All right. So
Come on, Pastor Jeff. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. I hear you.
that's Pastor Jeff's perspective. Now, men, I want to ask a question for the men. This is something that we don't like to talk about, and that's why we're doing it in the barbershop conversation. In the older generation of men, emotions were reserved. Hugs and I love you was often only heard from to the wife or to the daughter. The sons, you got to nudge, you got to high five, you got to suck it up. My question for you men is, why is it hard for us men in the 21st century? Get in touch with our emotional intelligence, tell our sons that we love them, give them a hug, tell other men that, hey, Ramon, you know what? As Glenn Lundy would say, Ramon, I absolutely love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Men, why do we have a problem with showing our emotions to other men as it comes to our feelings about them, somebody that we love?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I mean, I think that you're right, Pastor Jeff. And to your point, Tyrone and I were having a one-to-one conversation yesterday just about this. So I know he has some things on this, but I think one, hypothetically, again, not knowing everybody's mind, but what I can sense, it is a generational thing to some degree. I know my father being an older man, whatever age older man, I'm almost 50, so people can do the math how old he could have been. He passed away, but he was an older, gruff man whose great grandfather got out of slavery, things like that. So I don't recall him ever saying, I love you, I appreciate you, I respect you, hugging, kissing me. And I wish he did, because I believe I have a void in my heart. But my son, Pastor Jeff, I slobber him like a St. Bernard. And he's, 28 years old, a big strapping man. Dad, we just kissed an hour ago. I'm like, yep, let's do it again. So, we have a lot of fun like that. But I think I do all that because I didn't have it and I miss it. But I do get your point. It really depends on how you're raised. And I've even heard some people who we love and appreciate who've said very openly, if my son falls, I'll say, boy, get back up and be tough. I get what they're saying, but I do think there's something to be said that, and again, girls and guys are different. But I think, yes, you're right what you're saying, but I think part of it is a generational thing. I'd like to think us younger guys were a bit softer, a bit more attached to our feminine side, as Stephen Kuhn says, than maybe our fathers were.
All right, very, very, very good. I'm going to go, before I come to you, TJ, we're going to go to Clubhouse. We're going to start out with Brother Tyrone. How about it? Do the football players tell each other that they love them? Do they have an issue with giving each other a hug if they're not tackling each other? How about it, Tyrone?
Me and Ramon, again, we had a great conversation. Me and Ramon, you guys better keep an eye on me and Ramon. We're going to do some great things, man, coming up. But this is my perspective on it. I think the principle of love, showing love to mankind, womankind. Don't get caught up in the man and woman. The mankind, meaning everybody. Okay. I think the principle got diluted. It got diluted into personal experiences. So one person may say, well, hey, you got to be tough. You got to be tough. Another person say, hey, said, and we talked about this yesterday. My son, I do the same thing. My son's 16 years old. I got a picture I can show when he was like, man, he might have been 4. I think I told Ramon he was like maybe 4 years old or something like that. But I got inducted into a Hall of Fame, right? And he came up on stage. He came up out the audience and walked up on the stage. He's like, this is my dad up here. He walked up on stage, and there's a picture where he leaned over and gave me a hug, and I kissed him. And to this day, he's 16 years old. I kiss him in public. Kiss him in public, hug him, kiss him in public. We got our like little what's the group? Anyways, anyway, I'm losing my train of thought. But we got our own little dance, our own little like handshake and kick leg, kid and play. That's what I'm trying to say. We got our own little kid and play type of greeting. But at the end of the day, I hug him, I kiss him, and I tell him I'm proud of you. And man, he let me kiss him. That's what he's used to. That's the principle. That's the experience that he's used to. So to him, that's normal as drinking water. But to someone else, their experience is not like that. So the principle is we show love to mankind, but I think it got diluted to a person's experience. That's my answer to it.
Thank you, Tyrone. And we're going to go over to Steve. Steve, how about it? Men showing emotion to one another, especially to their sons, but also to other brothers. You know, I know in the church, we don't have a big problem with the hugs, but yeah, I ain't seen no men kissing men in the church unless they were Muslim. I did see it when I was in the Middle East. They kiss on both sides of the cheek whenever they greet. But I digress. Steve, how about it? What's your perspective?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's really important that we need to show emotions and love to people, even it's our family or it's a neighbor, a brother, anybody. If you show love to them, you get it back. Whatever we give, it comes back. And it's really important for a human being to go ahead and shake the hands, give a hug. Why? Because we have senses. If we talk about the sense of touch, that is, you release the oxytocin. Even you give a hug to your wife, your son, your daughter, anybody, that releases the oxytocin, which is very important. If you do it with your son, definitely it's going to make him feel better. Even if his heart is heavy and you give him a hug, give him a kiss, it's going to light him up and he's going to be proud of a dad. Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
All right. We appreciate that,
Hey,
Steve.
Pastor Jeff, can I say this real quick? 10 seconds. Now, me and Ramon again had a great conversation, and you guys let me know what you think about this. Nothing against the women, but that interaction between a male lion and a male lion is totally different from that interaction of a lion to a lioness. And what I mean by that is a mother can pat her son on the back 1,000 times and say, "Son, you made me proud." But man, that one touch on the back from your old man, a lion to another lion, and when he says, "Boy, you made your old man proud. Boy, your chest stick out and you run faster." So I just want to say that's how important giving that love male to male is.
Absolutely.
Nothing against the females.
That's a great point, and I agree with you 100%. As they used to say, I approve that message, Tyrone. And I want to go ahead over to ECMD's representative. What you say, brother? All right. He may not be with us. Jonathan, how about it?
Pastor Jeff, can I slip in one more comment since Jonathan and ECMD
you can take Jonathan's place. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say it's amazing, to the same point, it's amazing how even a mother can slap her son even, "Boy, why'd you do this?" or whatever it is. But dad, as it gets a little older, sons have punched their dad back or they fought. So just to the whole point of male and female, that 4-foot lady can hit her son, punch him dead in the chest, beat him over the head with a crowbar. He'll be crying, "Mama, I'm sorry." Do that? Not much longer he's going to do that.
Well, you know what, Ramon? I don't know with this 21st century generation, because some of these good boys will hit their mama back. But before
that's funny.
Look, it's to happen right here in Augusta. All right. So before I chime in on it, I'm gonna go to TJ Davis. How about it, brother? We know you work with men. That's part of your mission. That's part of your calling. How about this, men showing emotion, being able to hug one another, being able to tell one another they love them, and for their sons to be able to kiss their son without it being any kind of funny thing going on?
Well, Jeff, the emotions of a man, it gets pretty critical at times. And it is based on, I heard what Brother Tyrone said, it can be of something from the past that can affect a man in his present.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up in a home where we grew up hugging each other. And because I grew up in that home, the grandfather was the man that didn't display that to my father.
Mm-hmm.
His father didn't display that to him. And so it made it difficult because they didn't hug in their home, but he wanted that for his home. So he broke that curse.
Okay.
And displayed the hugging in the home, to the fact that when I came back 20 years later, I began to reach out to shake my dad's hand, and he pulls me in and he hugs me to this day. He refuses a handshake. He only wants to hug. And in my experience with men, I noticed that most men shy away from that if they were not accustomed to it. But when you build that trust with a brother, he'll let you closer and allow you to get that hug in. So with me, I have 4 boys. And with those 4 boys, 3 of them I did not raise in my home. Now, that's a challenge for me as a man, because inside my home, the son that's there is my wife's son by blend marriage. We hug all day. With those ones that I did not raise per se, the hug is like a strange hug.
Wow.
And hopefully one day you'll bring me on and we can talk about that. But the hug is a strange hug. But in the back of my son's mind, I can tell that they just want that dad in their life. Mm-hmm. And so that's been my challenge for a while with that hug thing. And because we hug everybody. I even got in trouble with my wife with this hugging stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, I got in trouble because here's what happens. We have interracial couples of different nationalities, and I don't see color. And so here it is. It'll be a brother. It'll be a white guy or a Chinese guy, and the wife goes and they hug my wife, and then they reach out and I hug, and then I end up hugging the guy, and it just does something, man. It ignites something, and so we're full of hugs, and so this hug thing is contagious, and you can show a lot of people that love and that care just through the hug effect of a person. Now, Jeff, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna shut up. My son, the oldest one, came to Atlanta, and he never spent the summer with me. And I didn't find out until after all he wanted was a hug and to spend time with Dad. But he came to Atlanta on another level, tripping. Mm. And that hug turned into a fight, man.
Wow.
You know, and that wasn't good because I saw an area in my life that I needed improvement in. There it is, a young man that was sitting outside of my office, stalling for me asking him to go back home and just leave because we ain't on that level yet. And he did not. And he's called me out of my name, and I checked him instead of hugging him, man.
Wow.
I'm dealing with that to the day. And so I'm going to land my plane there, brothers. The hug is needed.
TJ Davis, thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for that share. Some folks need to hear that. We are not perfect. We have perfection in us, but we don't always tap into that perfection. And so as we grow, as we mature, as we evolve, we change. And when I like to say, when we know better, we do better. But before I give my perspective on it, which I'm going to, I want to go back to the clubhouse, over to the Hollywood mob boss, Mr. Orlando. Mr. Orlando, are you with us?
This is ECMD.
Hey, so what's your perspective on our conversation that we're having about men being able to hug, kiss their sons, as well as be able to hug? And I don't know if you want to kiss another man or not, unless you're a Muslim, but being able to hug a man and tell him that you love him.
Well, to be honest with you, for me, all of my life, that was very difficult for me. Like I said, now that it's 2022, I don't see anything wrong with that. But for me, it was such a serious thing that it took me till I was almost 50 years old to tell my dad that I love him. I don't know, just maybe it sounds weird. It is what it is. But I just wasn't an emotional child like that for some reason. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was a mama's boy. I love my mother. But for some reason, I just couldn't do it until, then. So, no, I'm not going to kiss another man. I don't like it. I don't like to see people, I don't like to see kids kissing anybody, male or female. Because, I've observed it all my life, men kissing their daughters or women kissing their sons or whatever. I don't, my personal thing, I'd rather for them to just have a conversation, kiss them on the cheek, kiss them on the forehead, but not kiss them in the mouth. That's just my thing. But just all kind of stuff I've seen over my lifetime. And I'm ECMD and I'm complete for now. I'm here if you got any more questions.
ECMD, we appreciate that. I'm going to tell you, Pastor Jeff ain't kissing no man in the mouth either. I agree with you 100%. But I did start out with my son as a baby, as a child. And I played Mr. Mom for many years as my wife was in the military and stationed in different places. Sometimes we were both, I was a geographical bachelor. She was a geographical bachelorette. But I do kiss my son on his forehead. I do hug my son. And I do tell my son often that I love him. Now, one of the things that we need to keep in consideration, gentlemen, is that we don't have the same love language. So my oldest son is a touchy person. He will hug me and tell me he loves me a lot quicker than my younger son. And although my younger son is much more like my personality, he's going to do it when he wants to. He does it, but he got it growing up. And I agree with you, ECMD, Dad. No, not kiss me in the mouth, but I will kiss my son on the forehead. I kiss my wife on the forehead. And so I don't think it's a problem with that. Let me see. I want to go to Daniel. Daniel, thank you for joining us on today.
Could I add something else just right quick? The reason why I say what I said is like the first time when I was in my 20s, my girlfriend, I saw her kissing her dad in the mouth as a greeting. And for me, it just looked so weird to me. Like I'm in my 20s, she in her 20s. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird, So that was my very first time ever seeing that. And, so just looking at that, just in general, that was my thought. So I want you to know why. Thank you. I'm ECMD, I'm complete.
Well, thank you, ECMD. What you brought up is the point is culture. And so our cultures dictate how we think until we decide to think outside of the box of the culture. Some people never get outside of that box, Ramon, and so they stick with the expectations. Other people get outside of the box and they say, you know what? It's not my issue. If you got a problem with it, it's your issue. If you think something's strange because my the wife or the mother kissed the daughter in the lips, or the father kissed her in the lips, if you got an issue and we don't have an issue, then hey, you have your issue, but we understand what's going on. There's no molestation. There's no incest going on. There's nothing sexual. It's just that we're showing our emotions and we're fine with it. With that, because our time is coming up on us, where does it go when we're having fun? I want to go to Brother Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us. Would you like to join in the conversation? Just unmic and go ahead and tell us your name. Of course, we know that, but say your name and then tell us your perspective, Daniel. All right, we don't have Daniel. I'm gonna go to Tyrone.
Hey, Pastor Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I want to interject right quick. One of the things that I did get a chance to do, and you are right. The culture of communication, the culture and the communication is very, very important because it displays our nonverbal communication. Understanding the culture in any relationship will help you understand the individual, and you will not have to second guess or assume because you understand the culture, and sometimes cultures clash.
Yes. Absolutely right. I'm gonna go to Brother Jonathan. I'm not gonna get to, I had a good question that we're gonna save that one until next week because we're coming up on the hour of being in the show, and we're gonna go back to the clubhouse in just a moment. But Brother Jonathan, I'd like to give you opportunity to chime in on this question, really about men showing affection to their sons as well as to other men, and being able to tell your son that you love them, being able to tell other men that you love them. What's your perspective, brother? I wish I could see your shades.
Yeah, because I got them on too, brother.
Which color? Which color do you have on? You got the amber ones on, or you got the black ones on?
I got the black glasses with the navy blue frames, just rocking and rolling. Before I get started, I just want to do this. When I came on the mic last time, I didn't give greetings and shout outs to everybody on the mic. Always great to be with some strong brothers. I didn't realize we had the fabulous Ramon from Breakfast with Champions. Big shout out to him. And of course, the beautiful one, Renee North, for getting all started. And I just want to say this also. I want to back up my man, Tyrone Poole, who comes on the Real Talk Sports every Tuesday. Ramon, you got to back up off. He's my teammate. I'm just saying. But anyway, let me get to the answer to the question. At the end of the day, I had to learn this as I got older. I mean, my mom always raised us to hug up on everybody. That was her thing. Me and my brothers, we always hugged. We kissed on the cheek. All that stuff was no problem. But as far as like other guys, I kind of hugged them. But it wasn't really until I got here to Atlanta and I met a brother, unfortunately, who passed away not too long ago. He was like, hey, man, you got to loosen up. He said, we ain't trying to do anything here. And that's how he was. He was all about hugging. He was all about sometimes like cheek to cheek hug. And what that did for me was it allowed me to understand that as men, we can be free to do what the sisters do, because the ladies do it all the time. They have no problem with that. And it really did kind of create a bond. And I remember at his funeral, I had to speak the words that David spake when Jonathan passed away. He said, hey, man, he said, what we had, now I don't want anybody to think this is strange, but David said the love he had for Jonathan almost at times surpassed that of a love of a woman, not in a sexual way, but in terms of being able to bond with him, where like we would go to a spot and like we would see he'd look at me, I look at him, and there was no verbal communication. We just knew what one another was talking about. So yeah, I did have to grow to learn to appreciate that bond. And I think that for men, that's important. And I think in sports, we see it sometimes. We see guys, when you make a big play, Tyrone can attest to this, everybody's hugging and jumping on one another. So I think it's a good thing. And on that, I release the mic.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. Absolutely. Everybody's perspective is their perspective. It is difficult if you were not hugged as a child to take a hug from a man when you get grown. However, you can teach an old dog new tricks. It just takes longer. And so you can break those generational habits. I call them generational habits. They can't be broken. If you created a habit, you can break the habit and you can create new habits for your family. Somebody put in the comments that men are going to shake hands first and then they get that side hug. And look at here. Let's be honest, brothers. Nobody wants a speed bump to speed bump experience. So look at here. Absolutely. We're gonna make sure that we sidestep and then we can show our appreciation. We ain't trying to rub nothing up against nothing. Look at here.
Is that what it's called, Pastor Jeff? That's the first time I heard speed bump to speed bump. I'm gonna have to remember that. I like how you worded that, man.
I have to remember this is a PG room for the most part. So Pastor Jeff got to say, I can't say what I really want to say because some folks still, they stuck at pastor and forget that there's a Jeff after that. Before there was a pastor, before there was a Jeff, there was a male, M-A-L-E. I think like a male. I walk like a male. So I look like a male. So look, just as we deal with the reality of it, Ramon. So we do that. We do as men need to do a better job of breaking. If we have to break the generational habits, break it, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all have a need, according to Maslow, to be wanted, to be needed, and to be loved. And how do we know it? The ladies ask a lot. Do you love me? I just told you 5 minutes ago. I just needed some reassurance. I wanted to hear you say it again. Men, we need to know that we love each other. Our children need to know that we love them. Look, Ramon Ray, TJ Davis, Daniel, Jonathan, Tyrone Poole, I got Steve. It has been an absolute plum-pleasing pleasure, as Les Brown would say, to have all of these giant kings in this one place on today. We've got to do this again. We're going to carry on the conversation. I got another question that I know the women want to hear an answer to, and I'm excited to ask them in about it. So Ramon Ray, when you can come back, please let us know. We want you back. Oh, if we can get you back, we need you. And TJ, thank you so very much. Tyrone, always here when you can be. Brother Jonathan takes his lunch to do it. Steve, thank you for coming back. And
Pastor Jeff.
Yes.
Let's thank Pastor Jeff for being such a good host. Many of you all have seen him in action already many times. It's my first like this. So Pastor Jeff, you are the GOAT. You are the man. Thank you for what you do. You do it very well, brother.
Thank you, Ramon.
Good job, Pastor Jeff.
Thank you.
Good job, Pastor Jeff.
Thank you. Ramon
Good
encourages
job,
me.
Jeff.
Thank you. Ramon encouraged me. I mean, when I first heard him come on the Breakfast of Champions, I'm like, who is this brother? He's like the Energizer Bunny on steroids. The bunny fell over. Ramon was still going. And then I like his sense of humor. Look, Renee's going to get me if I keep going. We're 8 minutes over the hour. So it's time to take this brother.
Wait, Pastor Jeff, I just want to say one more thing before I go. In the words of
You're in the Matrix.
You're in Matrix.
Jonathan's in the Matrix. Jonathan, hold on. We're going to come off of the live, and hopefully I'm asking all you gentlemen to go ahead and will join me in the Clubhouse room as we continue this in Clubhouse. Look here. You've been listening to the Tom Ford Fridays. This is Tom Ford Friday, the men's challenge, money, mindset, life wins. And you have been hosted by none other than Pastor Jeff in our barbershop conversation, where the women are flies on the wall and the men chop it up with real talk, without interruption, without question, and without distraction. Gentlemen, thank you so very much. Pastor Jeff absolutely loves each and every one of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. To all of our supporters that are watching us on Facebook, that are watching us on YouTube, and those that are listening on Clubhouse, as I close out, as I usually tell you, look at here. If nobody told you today, you have an absolutely beautiful smile. If you don't believe Pastor Jeff, go find yourself a mirror, compact mirror, rear view mirror, your side view mirror, a hallway mirror. I don't care. Just find a mirror. The bigger, the better. Smile at yourself. I guarantee you, with all that I have, that you're going to smile back at yourself. Take that as God smiling on you. Now go share God's smile with the rest of the world. Look forward to seeing you on next week. This is Pastor Jeff. Until the next time, God bless.
Wakanda